What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media. And tonight we are going to do part 2, the second installment. Really, how many installments of this can there be? There can be a damn lot. We are talking about the most iconic, the most horrifying VHS cover art of all time, at least for me. The films that made me kind of slow walk past, the films that made me want to take something new home. Now, these horror titles live rent-free in my head, and it's all about that poster art. And this one right here is 1987's horror fantasy, the Charlie Band, the Stuart Gordon directed Dolls. Now, this right here is one hell of a good horror film scored by Charlie's brother Richard Band. Listen, before there was Puppet Master in 88, 89, you had Dolls. And for Empire Pictures, I think this is one hell of a great horror film. But right now, we're going to talk about the cover art. I don't know what it was. I don't exactly know when I seen Child's Play for the first time, but for whatever reason, I always thought that Dolls was just as creepy, just as intriguing. There was something super weird, super kind of captivating about Dolls. And I love Stuart Gordon. Every single movie of his is an absolute banger, and I love Dolls. Listen, is your seatbelt securely fastened? Because tonight we are going to really have banger after banger after banger. And at number 12, this is a 1984 hour and 35-minute horror fantasy straight out of Little Red Riding Hood. This is a horror film about werewolves. We are talking about The Company of Wolves. Listen, we're talking about Angela Lansbury. We're talking about Mika Burgess, Sarah Pat. We are talking about one of the most incredible werewolf transformations, and there is something just as important as American Werewolf in London about this cover. This cover to A Company of Wolves, I don't even know how to explain exactly when it hit me, but I would come back to this cover and flip it over and see them kind of having dinner, having some sort of busted ass fucking tea party, and I was so intrigued. I had to know what in the hell is going on with this film. This is an incredible fantasy, an incredible werewolf kind of drama, kind of be careful what you wish for, don't take the wrong path. Absolutely banger, crazy music, crazy visuals, crazy good 4K. Company of Wolves fucking rips. And at number 13, because of course it had to be, dude, Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2. I can talk about this movie forever. Now, we haven't talked a lot of Evil Dead on this channel. There's a couple holy trinities on here when we're talking about The Exorcist, The Evil Dead, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's throw a fourth in there. Let's go with The Thing. The Evil Dead 2 is one of the greatest cover art pieces I have ever seen. I have it tattooed on my forearm. I would come back and back again to see this poster. I could not get enough of this film, and I was so confused as a kid. I was like, what are we doing? Are we just going to remake the same film again with better music, better effects, zanier, wackier, more gore? Absolutely love Sam Raimi. Absolutely love pretty much everything The Evil Dead is. Almost a perfect franchise for the most part, and I cannot recommend The Evil Dead 2 enough. Coming in at number 14 on our list right here is the immortal, the legendary Lucio Fulci's Zombie Flesh Eaters, Zombie 2, whatever you want to call this film. It's a masterpiece. I don't even know how you can even fuck around and not find out with something as brilliant, as gory, as disgusting, perfect music, perfect setting on the Brooklyn Bridge, perfect gore, perfect bodies, everything about Zombie is exactly why I became a horror fan. And that cover title where it just says, "We are going to eat you." I mean, did everybody and their mom not have that shirt growing up? I bought that thing in Rockabilly and I wore that thing out. That shirt is absolute gospel. There is something so special about Lucio Fulci's Zombie, man. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. If you think that you've seen a better zombie movie, really, than Lucio's Zombie, you really need to check yourself, because this film is absolute bonkers. It's crazy, it's gory, it's got some of the best visual effects. It is a nasty film. It is exactly what you want when you think about horror films and you think about, how can I push the envelope? How can I get something new out of the zombie genre? It's already been done. Not when you think of Lucio Fulci. The blood, the gore, everything about it, perfection. Moment of silence for all the bad babysitters out there. All those bad babysitters that let you stay up late and watch The Blob. Now listen, this is a Chuck Russell, one of the best horror films I've ever really seen. period. If you watch this when you're 6 or 7 years old, it will completely blow your mind. This film right here gave me everything that I needed growing up. It had gore, it had boobs, it had violence, it had a crazy story, it had a small town feel. It had, what is that? Is that Kevin Dillon, Matt Dillon's little brother? Everything about this movie was just everything that I needed growing up. I didn't even know about it, but I can tell you, when they put this film on and that dude goes to lookout point, he's like, I'm gonna reach into her shirt, and then all of a sudden she just becomes just this crazy mess and she gets sucked in and all that gore comes through. Unbelievable, man. And let's talk about the poster here for a second. That dude struggling to get out of that blob, I could not even imagine how you could not breathe. I was just thinking of that in the telephone booth and how crazy like the effects were, and there's this weird like army, like it was just unbelievable, man. The blob has some of the best visual effects I had ever seen. I had never seen The Thing before when I watched the blob, and I thought it was like all that. I didn't even know how to comprehend. The blob rocks. At number 16, what did you really think was going to happen when you pair two of the greatest masters of horror of all time in George Romero and Stephen King? Okay, absolute banger titles. Now, before we get into some of these stories, it's got incredible guests, right? You're going to have all these little wraparound stories. You got 5 or 6 stories with Tom Atkins. You got Adrienne Barbeau. You got Leslie Nielsen. You got Hal Holbrook. You got an amazing cast, just killing it. Crazy music, crazy effects. Tom Savini. I mean, you cannot get any better than Creepshow. I don't know, for my money, if there's a better anthology out there. Maybe Tales from the Dark Side. Maybe, but when it comes to my money, man, when I would go to the video store and I would see that cover art is exactly what I want when I think about a VHS title. Enough to get it tattooed on my other arm and just feel like when I pick that VHS box up, the browns and the whites and the way the horror title wraps around, I can feel this film in my hands. I know what's going to be inside, and I was so lucky that I found Creepshow when I was like 11 or 12 years old. I watched this on a loop nonstop. I thought it was the smartest thing. I thought it was the most brilliant, most progressive, goriest, nasty, fucking perfect movie ever, dude. I love Creepshow, and those Creepshow 2 stands out there. I see you too, but it's all Creepshow. Coming in at number 17, we are talking about Motel Hello, Motel Hell. Now, I got a fun little story with this film. This is a film that when it came on, for whatever reason, my parents came downstairs and they were like, because I lived in the basement as a kid, kind of a fun fact. And so I would always stay up late, watch any horror movie I could find. I would hoard them. I'd use my paper route money. I would collect horror movies, shove them in my wall. Whatever was offensive, whatever was gory, whatever was nasty, I wanted to have. And I had a real affection for like B horror films, midnight movies. I just thought they were so much fun, and Motel Hell blew my mind, man. Farmer Vincent's critters. It takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's, right? Fritters. Absolutely incredible film, incredible music. My mom hated it when they're in the ground, just unbelievable. The mask, the chainsaw, dude. It doesn't really get better than Motel Hell. I love every single frame of this film. I think that for whatever reason, it would come on TNT Monster Vision, and I would stay up late and I would watch it endlessly over and over and over. And for whatever reason, I'd also see this VHS title and I would like pick it up and be like, why is it Motel Hell? What can possibly be going wrong there? And then you flip the cover around and you got the pig with the chainsaw, and you know just something is going to go absolutely batshit bonkers, man. And luckily for me, when you put this thing in, it 100% delivers. And there's going to be a couple of titles in this series where the cover art is better than the movie inside. That is not the case with Motel motherfucking Hell. Are we ready to get into this? Are we really ready to talk about it? Number 18, the goriest fright film of all time. I'm going to slow down for a second because I want to talk for 16 minutes about this. I want to look into your soul right now and just tell you, listen to me. Turn up your volume. Dead Alive is my favorite gore film of all time. It just is. This needs a 4K like I need breakfast on a Sunday, okay? This is so important. This is more important to rednecks than something like Keystone Light or Busch Lattes. Dead Alive has so much play, so much fun, so much absolute banger fucking scenes from Peter Jackson, that Peter Jackson who came out and made Lord of the Rings. I got plenty of discussions on this channel about Dead Alive. You already know my feelings on it. Anytime I get a chance to talk about Dead Alive, kicking ass for the Lord, the zombies, the fucking chainsaw, everything, man, the blender. We watched this with a bunch of my friends for Halloween because it's not the end of Halloween until everybody comes over and you watch Dead Alive. I can quote this film. I know every single scene, and every time I watch it, I'm blown away. I'm like, this is so ahead of its time. This ruined me in the video store. I had to bring it home, and once you see that monkey take a bite, dude, Dead Alive, it's over. Now, coming in at number 19, I want to talk about maybe one of the VHS horror video poster art titles of all time. I really don't know how many times I picked up this title at American Video, Mr. TV, a movie gallery, a video update, a Blockbuster, a Hollywood. I would pick up this VHS title over and over and over, and I really didn't know that there was I should know that there's a Return of the Living Dead as a little kid, but I just didn't. I would pick this thing up and I would be so confused, and for whatever reason I would always get this confused with Fright Night as well, as like the two that I would pick up and just constantly kind of go back and forth like, what's this about? And really when I grew up in my head, I was like, I'm gonna get not the Fright Night, but I wanted to get the Fright Night on one side, the fucking Return of the Living Dead, this kind of swirl, this kind of storm thing. There's a couple of my friends, we all had the same idea for a tattoo because we were so obsessed with how amazing this VHS cover was, man. I would pick it up and I would stare into its soul, man. I wanted it so bad. And when I finally brought it home, 10, 11, something like that, I was very impressed with like the sewer scene. It was cool to see some of the other people come back. I loved all the toxing in the air. I thought the soundtrack was banger, but I really just wanted more of that cover art. I could not even understand how bad fucking ass this cover was, man. And there's still a little part of me that wants to get that model, that Lorimar model that everybody's seen, where it's just the thing going up in the sky, man. Return of the Living Dead Part 2 is a banger title, but even more importantly, that cover art is complete 10 out of 10. Nothing but killers on the way out. We're talking number 20. We are talking about Fright Night. Listen to me right now. There was a long period where I thought The Lost Boys was one of the greatest vampire films of all time, and maybe I still do. Okay, maybe I still do, but there was something so incredibly like whimsical, romantic, fun, strategic, like just so nostalgic about Fright Night, man. The fact that they can shift from crazy creatures on and off, man. You got the crazy Chris Sarandon, all these characters. I fucking love everything, the music, 100%. This is one of my favorite vampire flicks of all time, and I watch it 2 or 3 times a year because it's that important to me. But more important to me is how there is that cover art and how it has that little description about it's just so fucking iconic. I would pick this up with Return of the Living Dead over and over and over again. And I know that the Fright Night 2 cover is really, really cool with that white, but this is one of the greatest horror films with one of the greatest horror titles, period. I don't even know. I have no words. I'm going to shut the hell up. Fright Night, perfect title. Listen to me. There is only so many things that are a guarantee in life. Death, taxes, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a masterpiece. Coming in at number 21, this is a film that I just kind of refuse to talk about on my channel because it's not even worth mentioning. If you're a horror fan and you don't know about this film, I got nothing for you. Okay? We don't talk about The Thing, The Exorcist, The Evil Dead, The Shining. There's certain things that are just so good that you don't even need to sum them up. And for whatever reason, those first couple Texas Chainsaw, man, they just really like bothered me as a kid. And more than anything, I remember going to this place called Video Giant, and I just moved to a new town, and I would walk down these halls, these aisles of fucking movies, and I would pick up a film and I would kind of compare them. And one particular evening, I picked up Psycho and I picked up the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, which title do you think is going to be better? Which title fits? Which iconic piece of VHS horror artwork is better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, especially that media release? I don't know if you can actually name one. This is one of my favorite horror covers of all time, especially those blues and those purples and Leatherface just coming right at you with that chainsaw, man. There was something so iconic about that. And forget about the movie inside, okay? Forget about Tobe Hooper, forget about Gunnar Hansen, forget about all of that shit. How perfect this film is. That cover, I would spend more time lamenting over renting that film and hoping I could sneak it home with the title, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Brilliant. And last in this installment, but certainly not least, is probably my favorite 80s horror film. I mean, it's hard to say of all time because you do have some crazy bangers in the 80s, right? You got The Shining, you got The Thing, you got some amazing fucking horror films, you got The Evil Dead. But I think when it comes to when I think of the 80s and I think of how I felt as a kid, how I felt in the video store era, I thought that Night of the Demons was the scariest thing that you could have besides maybe your face being on the back of a fucking milk carton. I was so complexed by this cover that I would walk around in a circle and I would talk to my cousin like, dude, we gotta bring it home, we gotta know what's inside. Dude, I don't know if it's gonna be worth it, man. I don't know, man, we're gonna get in trouble. There was a real mystery, there was a real draw, there was an allure to this film, there was a reputation that you had to bring this film home. And once I finally did, and you push that thing into that Magnavox Hi-Fi and you push play, and even just that title sequence, I mean, if you've been watching my channel, you know how much I love this fucking movie. That title opening with the cartoons scared me. The music itself scared me. Forget about the lipstick, forget about Angela dancing around, forget about some of the craziest, most iconic demonic possessions in the 80s. This film knows what it is. This film gives no fucks about you, and this film wants to just have a damn good time, and that's exactly why I love Night of the Demons, man. There is something so iconic, so just like, at the same time kind of controversial about walking by that demonic face and just feeling like, dude, I'm gonna get in trouble. There's like, and when the film actually gets into it and you feel the possessions and you see the transitions, you're like, oh, this was done really, really well. Now listen, if you're watching this in 2025, it might not have the same effect because effects have come a long way. But in 1991, when you watch this film as an 8-year-old, it was iconic. And listen, guys, I know that I left a lot of stuff out here. 21, 22, shit, so many. Dead and Buried, Basket Case, Ghoulies, Ice Cream Man, motherfucking Chopping Mall, Maniac Cop, Faces of Detroit. There are so many films that I did not have time to get to, so you know there's going to be a part 3. Until then, take great care of yourselves. I love you, and we will see you on the next one.